And now to our top story, a national dialogue to discuss solutions to Cameroon's separatist insurgency opens today in Yaounde. Government in Cameroon has invited more than 1,000 people, including lawmakers, clergy, teachers, and civil society activists. The conference will be chaired by Prime Minister Joseph Dion Ngute. Yes, I expected you. I thought you had something to say to her today. All right, but we will have an analyst with us, Dr. Richard Macon, a social science researcher. Dr. Macon is with us from Yaounde this morning. Good morning, warm welcome to you. So we have the Grand National Dialogue taking off today. What are your expectations?
Like all Cameroonians, I am very hopeful that this dialogue will truly lead to peace returning to the northwest and southwest regions. But there are many uncertainties surrounding this dialogue. The way in which the preparations are conducted, the way in which the overall framework of this important consultation has been put in place raises a number of questions about the real willingness of the government to achieve a peaceful solution.
Le cadre global de cette importante concertation a été mis en place, soulève quand même un certain nombre d'interrogations sur la volonté réelle de l'ordre gouvernant en place d'aboutir à une solution de pacification.
The organizing committee had 20 days to prepare this dialogue. What are you so worried about? In my opinion, there have been a certain lack of preparation. First of all, from the point of view of the very conception of this dialogue, the selection of the framework in which the discussions should take place, the effort to mobilize all the stakeholders necessary to resolve the crisis, the definition and clear distinction between a dialogue conducted within the framework of a negotiation and a dialogue conducted within the framework of a crisis resolution, the consensual determination of an agenda, and finally, the choice of mediator, facilitators, and everything that could work to bring together the views of the different stakeholders in crisis. The identification of key issues to be discussed that are key concerns or demands for some of our communities. In this situation where there has been a kind of imposition of both the agenda of the discussion, the general framework of this discussion, we are still forced to ask ourselves questions about the ability of this dialogue to finally resolve the crisis in northwest and southwest regions.
Dr. Macon, among the 16 English-speaking separatist leaders invited to the dialogue, eminent leaders of some armed groups, some separatist groups such as Ebenezer Akwanga, Joe Ayaba have declined the offer. Is this a setback to the dialogue?
Obviously, this hinders this great national dialogue for the simple reason that you cannot solve a crisis by excluding those who participated either in the advent of the crisis or in its escalation or have been influenced in the area of operations. It is necessary to have a global perspective that brings together around the table all those who participated in the advent of the crisis and who have been an influence either on the worsening of the crisis or on its resolution. We have seen that the agenda that was unilaterally set by the government discouraged both some leaders of opposition political parties, such as those of the MRC, and some secessionist leaders from participating in this dialogue. There is therefore a risk that, at the end of this dialogue, the resolution to be adopted by various stakeholders may not be implemented. Finally, Mr. Macon, what should the government have done in preparing this dialogue? In our opinion, a gradual approach should have been adopted. First, allow a discussion between the representatives of the Anglophone community, whether they are separatists, federalists, or unionists. They should discuss among themselves in order to determine a common position that is specific to the overall framework for Anglophones. And after this determination of the points of view that are essential for them, try to determine which ones will represent Anglophone community in the national dialogue. And finally, that the issues that are important for discussions to them have been taken into account by the government. If you do not have the political party that came second in the presidential election, if you do not have the main separatist leaders in this discussion, which is an important discussion, one can logically wonder whether the resolutions that will be adopted by the various stakeholders will be implemented. First of all, we may even wonder whether those who participate in this discussion have the necessary legitimacy that may result in the respect of the commitments and recommendations that will be made by the participants delegated to this major consultation.